Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Shagalinko TV. It's the Saturday's edition, and we're happy to have you all here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and I'll be your host from now till when we finish this program. Okay, today we're looking at gender-based violence. We're looking at why victims don't also come out to talk about gender-based violence, because the truth about the matter is when victims don't come out to complain, then the statistics might just be unrealistic, because statistics without human face and human angles to them will really not speak. And then a lot of times women don't also come out, or men, or people who face gender-based violence hardly come out because of the stigma involved. So a lot of times, what will people say? People will mock at them, blah, 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 and all that. Okay. My guest that we'll be talking together is Baroness Neena Richie, and you already know her. She was here a couple of weeks back, and we talked extensively on another topic. In fact, that was why we had to bring her back on this episode to talk extensively. She's an actor, a filmmaker, a philanthropist, and a whole lot. I will let her introduce herself more as we join her now. Hello, Baroness.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Good to have you once again, Baroness.
It's an honor to be here. It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
You are always an interviewer's delight. You make our day every time we have you on the program.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored.
I, I hope you're not blushing.
I am now. I am blushing. Yes.
Okay. I want to make it as informal as possible, because
Mhm.
we'll be having a conversation, and it has to do with gender-based violence. And then in the course of the program, we'll be talking more of some of the field work, some of the philanthropy you've been doing for women in Africa and across the world, and some of the other things you've been doing. For those who missed out when you were our guest the first time some weeks back, I'd like you to take us through your journey, what your name is again, what you do, what you like our viewers right now to know, and then we'll come back to talk about our topic of discussion. Baroness, over to you.
Thank you so much. Well, I have been doing charitable work since the age of 15.
Oh,
And I used to save my pocket money to help the old people. So since then, I've been doing my charitable work slowly. But my parents used to do a lot of charitable work. And from that, I started to progress. And every business I did or every work I did, I always gave 10% of my earnings to the charitable organizations. Or I will go a couple of years back, I went to India, and there was an orphan, one of the teachers came and he said, look, we've got 300 orphan kids here. And the school was just breaking up. And these kids have never drank Coca-Cola and chocolates. And I was shocked
whoa.
that simple thing like a Coca-Cola or a chocolate. And I said, okay, let's give a party to them. So all 300 of them, I gave them a party and a goodie bag. And then out of that, the teacher said there's 7 kids who are very intelligent from 5 to 11. And I said, okay, I'll pay for their education. So since
Oh,
then, I started doing all that. But at the moment, I'm in a project with head teacher is from Nigeria, PIM school.
mm,
And when she approached me, said, Baroness, I need your support. I said, okay, fine. Obviously, I'm always there to support whatever we can do, but let's see what we can do under COVID-19. But I managed to raise funds to get laptops and a printer. But at the moment, I'm raising funds to build that school properly so the kids can have a proper education in that school. And for that, the reason I said yes, because it's a one woman struggle to educate
mm,
another human being, and
yeah.
she established that school herself. So to me, it's an inspiration to other women. Other
Wow.
women, African women, ethnic minority women say we can't do this, but that alone is an inspiration on head teacher for PIM school. The way she struggled to build that school herself. Any woman can do that. You know, a woman and men. When they say we can't do it, yes, we can. We just have to have faith in the strength, and we can do that. So at the moment, I'm helping support the school, raising funds. Uh, you know, obviously other businesses that I do on the side and everything. So yeah, but we are under
Wow.
COVID-19. We are quite limited.
I understand. Yeah, everyone is movements are restricted, sort of, and all that. Well, it's good to have you, Baroness. We'll be looking at gender-based violence, how we can particularly end stigma, because a lot of times people don't come out to talk about it. And for those of you watching right now, if you've ever had stigma, if you've ever had been a victim of gender-based violence, please do drop your comments on the comment section. We are streaming live on both YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. So whichever destination you chose to watch us from, we're here for you. And if you have questions for Baroness on the subject matter, please do feel free. Our comment sections are there, and we'll be reading your questions or views or comments as the program goes on. And before I even go on, let me say a big thank you to Chila Luxury Hotel. They decided to give me a spot today here to record my show, Shagalinko, and that's why you see the beautiful back view, no noise, and all that. So thanks to thanks to Chila's Luxury Hotel for Shagalinko today. So, Baroness, let's come back to you. A couple of messages are already here, but I will read them as the program progresses. Now, what is gender-based violence for a layman, for someone who may not know? Because the truth is, some people might even be violated. Some people might be going through gender-based violence and not even know. So what should they look out for? What is gender-based violence, so that when victims begin to experience it, they will know and then maybe seek for help?
The gender-based value GBV is a major public health issue, inequality and human rights issue as well. That covers spectrum of violence abuse committed primarily exclusively against women and men. Men don't come out
Yeah.
as much as women do. Men think because they're macho, and what would other men or other people would think if they're getting beaten up. So that's that. For that reason, they don't come out. But I think we need to have more support as well as we have for women, for men,
Yeah.
because men don't have as much support as women do on that. And with the violence, it's an abuse. It's basically whether it's a mental. Even if somebody says something bad to you, that's a mental abuse. Or somebody calls you names, that's a mental abuse. Somebody bullies you, that's a mental abuse. It's not just when you beat someone up, that's a violence. Anything can be the violence. Human
Mm.
rights, mental torture, that probably comes all in one spectrum as a violence.
Sure. So and that takes me to something you mentioned the other time we had you on the show. You've said it again now, and it's so resonating. You said in your last episode with us that women are able to speak out. Women are wired in a way that they are able to have conversations. So they are able to share their emotions. So when they are happy, you can tell. When they are sad, you can tell. A woman can tell you when there are issues, and that's why they're able to get help at every point in time. And you mentioned something very important, that men feel macho, feel it's weakling for them to express themselves, and so that's why maybe help doesn't come. So why do you think it's that way? And then how can you appropriate how gender-based violence affects men and women? Because truth is, a lot of people still don't believe that men are actually violated or go through gender-based violence.
Yeah, of course they do. Men do go through that. Men go through that in fashion industry, media industry, political, corporate world. Men go through that violence. Is basically nobody has to hit someone. to call it a violence. It could be a mental torture. It could be to do with wages. It could be anything in that spectrum. Getting promotion. That is somebody's playing the political games. So that is type of a torture and a mental torture. And men, they don't come out because obviously they feel, what are their friends going to think? What are the family going to think? What are the other people going to think if I speak out and say, look, my wife beats me, or I'm getting mental torture? But they can go to psychologists and speak about it. And it's time the men did come up and spoke more and more. The more male we have in the gender-based violence and that speaks out, then they will get more help out there.
True. True.
If they're quiet, then nobody's going to think that, oh yes, men are okay, when they're not.
Mm. Okay. Messages are coming in, so let's I beg your indulgence to let you read some of them so we can clear them, because it's obvious so many messages are coming in. This one is from Ricky, and it says, hello, thank you, Ricky. This other one here is from SA, and it says, good afternoon, everyone. Baroness, Dr. Neena, Richie, greeting you also there. So, Baroness, let's come back again. I want you to read this message here from Melanie Ora.
Good afternoon, Melanie Ora. I think that our culture must stop victim blaming education in schools and for our welfare professions. It's vital in order to stop the stigma which exists.
True. Okay. So I think Melanie just brought me to the question I was going to also ask you, that why are people stigmatized every time they come out to speak out? You find instances where if a woman is raped and she comes out to say, even at the police station or with the security agents, they are always blaming the victim. What was she wearing? Why did she go to the man's house at night? Why was she in a compromising way? Maybe she was the one that even seduced the man. Maybe not. Maybe this, maybe that. Why are the victims always blamed and stigmatized for issues? Because maybe that is just why we're having an increase in gender-based violence. So, for instance, if gender-based violence is in the home front, a woman gets beaten by a husband, no one is asking the mental state of the man. Why is he even angry unnecessarily or even irritated? All they do is heap the blame on the woman. Maybe it was how she spoke back to the man. She's rude, she's not respectful to her husband, or she didn't cook the food on time. Nobody will ever take out time to say, okay, you know what? Let's even begin to ask the perpetrator, why are you why do you think your partner should be the punching bag here and all that? So why are people still stigmatized when issues of gender-based violence comes up, Baroness?
I actually blame the education sector and the way they've been brought up. If they have been abused as a child, that will be in their DNA and in their mental status. They think it's okay to speak like that with a woman. It's okay to speak like that with a man, to swear and not to cook or not to do certain things that husband and wife, they both need to work as a team and work together. It's not just a woman faces at home. No, it's not, because woman goes out to work too. So husband takes care of the house too. Nowadays, we're in the 21st century.
True.
So in a sense, the education is vital. Education in home life is a vital thing in when it comes to violence. I mean, we did one movie called Unwanted Bride, and I stayed in women's refuge for the weekend to speak to the victim, and it was horrendous what they went through. For little thing, just a little thing, a woman got stabbed and she had a 5-year-old kid, and that's very hurtful that men have to behave in that. They can't just disrespect a woman. because they've been abused as a child, you know.
Yeah.
So education is very important. Home life is very important. Those are the two primarily very, very important in people's upgrowing.
Okay. All right. I will take a few more messages and I will go on to ask you the next question. The issue of women in business, because gender-based violence is, like you said, it's not just until one is physically beaten up as well. So when there are abusive relationships, when people also find a way of swindling others, in business, a lot of women also go into business and then they get swindled or duped and all that. So I will come back to ask you all that, why all this happen and what women should do to also safeguard their finances, their investments and all that. But let me take a few more messages here. This one is from Richard Okoko. It says, this is an issue that requires a change of mindset because we find ourselves in a society that discourages anyone who attempts to seek justice. We must, as a necessity, create a community of individuals who believe in the campaign and have shoulders available to lean on anytime without being scared. I believe it's beyond the individual. Thank you, Ambassador, for building one of such communities in our time. Thank you very much, Richard. And Baroness is also saying thank you. I got this other
Thank
one
you.
from Matthias. Yeah, I got this other one from Matthias Idris, and it says gender-based violence remains a global problem with the same root cause. I think how to help reduce gender-based violence is creating an awareness on these violence. It will really go a long way in helping to stop the violence. And I got this other one from Apostle Nsikak Ntong, and it says it's a very important topic to handle. Thank you. And I'll take one more. Okay, so many here, but let me take these two, and then I'll come back to you to reply my questions. Helen, okay, Helal Chaudhry says, it is very important topic. I agree with all that need to help the victim. Some more people have confidence to join and help each others. Keep up the good work like always. And as Glow Olori says, nice one. It's an important topic. I agree with all that is needed to help the victims. We have to create lots of channels for awareness so more people have confidence to not only join but help others too. Well done to Baroness and well done to you, Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. That is from Ask Glow Lori. Baroness, any comments on those messages before you answer my question on women in business?
Yes, those questions are very important. And yes, I mean, I agree with our viewers and our listeners. And thank you. Thank you for your participation onto our program. And we honor you. And it is important. Is very, very important that we talk about these issues. 30 years ago, it was 30, 40 years ago, it was a stigma. We couldn't discuss it. Now it's all out in the open, which is much, much wider variety of violences that we can discuss now. And my aim is not just for women, but for men too, because there are some of the things that when I write on the Facebook, I used to get messages that I have saved lives of people and I didn't even realize. And they said, the one guy 2 years ago said, thank you, Baroness. You just say I was suicidal because I was abused, you know? And I was quite shocked. And I thought, just a writing little positive quote or positive article about, uh, inspiration that can save someone's life. And
Yeah,
people don't realize what other people go through. So we need to be nice to everyone.
true.
We have to be humble with everyone and nice and look at their situation, what they're going through. and support them. That is very important.
Mm, mm. Beautiful. So let's come back to women in business. A lot of times, people generally get duped, they see a whole lot of business opportunities and then want to invest and then don't get to know that some of these business opportunities might be a scam, might be a fraudulent setup and all that. Take us through a journey, take us through advising women how they can be careful. And have you fallen victim of any of such fraudulent opportunities you felt out of your philanthropic nature? You just feel, okay, let me invest in XYZ, and then only for you to later understand that things didn't go the way it's planned, or you felt it was a genuine thing and then it ended up being a scam. What's your take?
Nowadays that we're living in a world where there's 80% of our scams and fraudsters out there. So we have to be
Mm,
very, very careful. As I said, 30, 40 years ago, maybe there were a lot of people that word meant something, word was our bond, but that has
mm,
not been so nowadays.
mm.
Even nowadays, when we sign the contract, even then people fall a victim. All these years I've been doing business at the age of 17. I've been in the corporate world. I mean, I've traveled the world, sat with the most with powerful people in the world. I've never been scammed. And obviously I've been scammed with all that experience. Um, and scammed in a sense because I trusted the word in the project and the film funding project with this guy. Obviously, everybody knows his name is Sudhi Sharma from Ask UK, Ask Groups of UK company or something. And my accountant checked him out. My accountant was my accountant as
Go
well as a
between.
business advisor. So he checked him out because I was too busy with doing my law degree and traveling. So he said, it's fine, do the project. We went, did the project. Um, and he defrauded me. He lied, he defrauded me. He lied about, owes me £750,000 and he lies. Then
Whoa.
people like that, you have to be careful because then it's not only me. He's done this. He's done that to many people. Then they try, what these fraudsters do is they try to sort of mental torture. Then they threaten because they use their influences to threaten other people. And that's what they go through. And that's the reason I've set up this project, hashtag NR, social justice for women in business as well as men. Uh, so this does not happen to another victim or another woman or another man in business, because we're doing businesses nowadays
True.
and we have to be very, very, very careful.
True. Okay. I'll take a few more messages here. So many messages are here. This is from Ricky, and it says, please ask the Baroness Richie why Neena Richie, sorry, why do people like Sudhir Sharma from Ask Group of Companies in UK does fraud and betray women and men in business? He's getting away with fraud and money laundering. He promises to pay them, but never does. He doesn't want to pay them, then threatens them. He uses his influence to destroy innocent business women and men. He's a complete fraudster, ruining people's lives. Okay. So Ricky said we should ask you, Baroness. So what's your take on that?
Well, as a victim of this such uh, people, to me, I feel they're greedy. To me, it just, I look at their background as if their upbringing, that they've never seen money in their life. They don't know how to be honest with people, how to be nice to people, how to be, what is your bond, and to be scared of God. you
Yeah.
know, to have integrity, honesty, loyalty, transparency, you know, and honesty. Those five factors are very, very important in business. And
Mm.
with that, the loyalty, transparency, and honesty, you cannot do business. You cannot
True.
defraud people. And he's getting away with it, but he tried to sort of corner me in businesses. He used his influence, but then God is great. I have a great faith in God. God is our justice. He can use influence in the courts, in the political parties. He can use his influences, but God is the judge. And I have a great support. From Father Alan, from Bill, and my other from General Isam, and likewise Esa and Michael from US. So
Mm.
slowly, slowly, we're getting a lot of support because this, what I have gone through with this man, he has not done that to me. He done that to one of his employees, and
Mm.
that was very hurtful because his employee had a wife had a cancer. She died last year, and he owes him ten
Oh,
thousand pounds. And when he
so
asked for
sorry.
a yeah, and when he asked for his wages and a contract, he indirectly hired someone to kill him with a gun, and that is wrong. You know, that's not, you don't do business like that. And to say to people that he is untouchable and he can do whatever he wants, no, he can't. And we can't have this type of people in business because how many victims are going to fall for that? You know,
True.
so we need to be very, very cautious. Um, Speak to Ministry of Justice, Federal Trade Commission, FTC, um, report them, check everything, check their background. Now I'm very, very cautious because of one person. I would do the proper checks. Even though your
Yeah.
manager is checking, your accountants are checking references of the person, but do your due diligence yourself too. Don't just leave it up to somebody else. Four eyes are better than two eyes. Uh, you know, so that is the, I mean, that's the best advice I can give. With the
Yeah.
contract, make sure the contract is tight, very tight, and jot everything down, which I thought the word was bond, but obviously it's not nowadays. There's too much fraud, too much greediness. Yeah, and there is, I mean, it's sad reality that we're living in at the moment.
As a philanthropist that you are, Baroness, how does it make you feel knowing that such huge sum of money that went down the drain due to fraudulent activity by someone else would have saved a whole lot of lives if that money had been channeled to charity? How does it make you feel? Because I know each
But
time you
it's
remember
like,
the huge
yeah, the
money.
thing is, with this money that the project I did, I was setting up a studio to help the women and youth in domestic violence, because the media, the music industry, the songs, the dance, the acting really helps the mentality and mental status of
Mm,
your mind. You know,
true.
it takes them away from that stigma that they've been in violence and drives them into uh, something in different. They can get into whether it's acting or whether there is presenting or whether they want to do fashion so that this man, by doing this, not only has he stopped me by helping hundreds of women and youth that need help and support.
Mm,
Yeah, so I mean, that's all we can say.
wow. Okay, let's come back. I'll be reading some more messages here, but I'll also need to ask you this one. How has it been for you juggling um, the movie world, and what more do you think you can do using that space to talk about issues of gender-based violence and how we can also end stigma?
such as your program. Thank you for having me. And programs like yours, your television and other media. Media is the voice of the world. And media can break and make a person.
Yeah. True.
So the more and more media people that come forward and discuss the issues, that will highlight, whether it's television or whether it's TV or YouTube channels, uh, and these are the platforms that we need to use now, because everything is on available online, and this is very important for everyone to discuss the issue online. And it's an
Yeah.
amazing, your TV channel is an amazing that it's discussing these issues. Core purpose of having all these domestic violence that people are going through. And I have seen a lot of channels, TV channels. Obviously, I used to look after 9 Asian TV channels. So I know I used to have my own breakfast shows, and we used to discuss all these programs, but not as
Mm.
much as you have put yourself forward to discuss this program. And thank you. It's an amazing. Your TV channel is amazing.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
and more and more people should come to your channel. More and more people should support you on this, because this is what we need. And I just hope that more and more TV channels and radio will pursue discussing the issue, because the mental issue of a woman and a man in domestic violence affects the economy,
Yeah.
because those men and a woman who are abused, they go out to work, and it will affect the jobs, it will affect the home life, it will affect a lot of status, school life. So we have to be very, very cautious on that.
Okay. Let's take more messages here. I'd like you to read some of them as I put them out. Um, so many of them here, but um, okay. Please do take this one. It's from Abdurrahman Abdu.
It's an international institutional reform starting from grassroots and family level. Exactly, that's what I said earlier on. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Abdullah Abdu, for your comment, and we appreciate you that you're on our show. And social and justice system cut across a global and national level, um, concerned efforts. Yes, and I think the social justice needs to be reformed, and more support needs to be in social justice, as well as the businesses. Businesses need to know that the employees could be abused mentally and physically. So we have to be very cautious of that and help everyone.
Yeah. Take this other one here from Melanie.
Thank you, Melanie. Nurses and doctors are not trained about mental trauma or domestic abuse, and this is ignorance. Means that abuse is ignored due to the lack of knowledge about these issues. What follows is neglect and more ill treatment of victims. Yes, doctors and the hospitals, they need to be trained on these issues, and not all the hospitals, all the doctors and nurses are trained on this. And even the school and colleges need to be trained, because those children that come to school um, could be mentally tortured and abused. So even the head
Mm.
teachers, schools, even the government, they need to be trained on because they have employees in the government state. So anybody could be mentally
A
tortured,
victim. Yeah.
be a
Anybody
victim.
can
Yeah,
be a victim. True.
of
True.
course, of course.
Okay, let's we'll be wrapping up shortly, but I need you to also, I'm passionate about women and children. Let's also, you said something right now, and that's even bringing the next question I want to ask, because you said anybody can be a victim, and you talked about how schools also have a role to play. Now, when children come from very abusive homes, researchers have also shown that they turn out sometimes to be bullies themselves, and also leading to being perpetrators of gender-based violence on its own, like being rapists, causing chaos in the society, very violent and all that. So what will you also have the government or the society do about harnessing the potentials of young people? Because the truth is, sometimes we just think they are too young, and we don't remember that even when they are young, they still can understand, they see things, they watch the environment, and how the environment plays out is also how they grow up to play out as well. So what would you like to say concerning children, and how we can also begin to revolve their mental state and tilt it towards being good citizens?
The schools can do a lot more when it comes to the violence and educating children. Teach them love. Meditation and love is very important. If you give out love to them at school, um, when they see violence at home, they said, no, this is wrong. But if the schools themselves don't teach about the violence or the love and what's right and what's wrong, when they go home, they will not know what's right and what's wrong. So it will just carry on. So the school has a lot of role to play with it, as well as parents. Parents has 60% of the role to play. Love your children. I was blessed to have the most beautiful parents, because we were all taught to be loved and harmonious way, and love everyone, and do charity and support everyone. And I think everybody should be doing that. And every parents, every school teachers, even the government needs to put out there more advertisement regards to this. And they should have a curriculum. They should have some education in school about this project, about this violence, women, children, men. They should have one subject on that, how to that this exists. So don't be silent, speak out, and speak to
Okay.
your teacher, speak to and get some advice from them.
Okay. Let me take some more messages. This one is from Evelyn Emerson. It says, I am of the opinion that orientation and change of mindset are majorly necessary. Talking from gender violence in marriage as it concerns women, also known as domestic violence. People like People like where I come from believe once you're married, it doesn't matter to most mothers or women whether you are being battered or not. You have to remain in that marriage because people will reproach you for not being able to stay in the marriage, and maybe blame your mother for not bringing you up well. I lost a cousin to domestic violence. She should have left. She should have left, but no, it's not in the tradition of the family to marry and go back. So she stayed and was beaten to death along with a 7 months old pregnancy. Enlightenment is needed. These mothers and women need to be educated. Some women stay in the marriage because of the kids and financial conditions. Um, I'm trying to, it's quite a lengthy one, but I'll just finish it up now. Our laws should also strengthen to protect people that are going through gender-based violence. Our laws doesn't help much. They would rather tell the couple to go and settle at home because it's a family matter. Women need to be encouraged to empower themselves financially. There should be a law on child support from their men where the women couldn't bear to stay. On the aspect of men who also can be victims, the fear of being called coward deter them from speaking up. This is where the stigma abounds more. They should also be encouraged to seek help. Baroness, I think you said this too, that more women get help because more women speak out. If more men speak out, they'll be able to get help. What do you say about Evelyn Emerson?
Thank you, Evelyn, for a beautiful message that you have sent. And yes, it does. The family values, and there are tradition in Asian, African families. Certain families is very strong that when once you're married, that's your home, and you have to deal with it. You know, And what would the community say about you? What would the other people would say? For me personally, I wouldn't worry about the community. I would not worry about other people what they say, because they don't put the
True.
food on my table.
True.
They don't pay my bills. I'm going through. The victim is going through hell. Victim is getting battered. It's up to the victim to come out of that relationship amicably, and the family is supposed to support that victim, saying, "Hey, this shouldn't happen, and don't touch my child, whether it is a girl or a boy, and respect each other."
True.
And a family, there should be more family support, and the community needs to get to come together. Community needs to educate themselves to support the victim more and more, especially in African, obviously African villages and Indian villages and other Asian villages, that needs to be supported, that women are not just for home. They do have a life outside home. They're not just um, maids.
Mm. True. Okay, in case you just joined us, the program is Shagalinko TV, comes your way every Saturday and Tuesdays, 2 p.m. West African time. And this Saturday's episode, we're looking at gender-based violence. Why are people being stigmatized? Why is it difficult for people to seek for justice? And why do people feel so reluctant to speak out? A lot of times it's due to stigma. And we have our guest here, Baroness Neena Richie, all the way from United Kingdom. And we're looking at a whole lot of this. And she's been so inspiring. And like I say, every time we're here, remember to like our pages for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is Shagalinko TV. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and it's Shagalinko TV. And do click on the notification button, so whenever we come on live, you'll be able to get a notification. Right now we're streaming live, both on YouTube and Facebook. And yes, thanks to everyone who's been joining us always, everyone who's been supporting us all the way. We truly appreciate. So I'll be asking Baroness, in her final words now, what before I even ask you to do your final words, Baroness, I'd like you to tell us in a few words what are some of the projects you've done. I know COVID-19 has kept everyone indoors and then sometimes barely walking outdoors for a while. But what are some of the things you've done over this period of lockdown, and what should people be expecting as countries begin to ease the lockdown as well? What are the field activities? What are things? I know you're also into women empowerment, children and all that, education and your philanthropic work. So going forward, what are some of the things we should be looking out for? Are there collaborations? Are there things you'll be doing till the end of the year or next year that you think people should know right now?
At the moment, I am concentrating in a couple of projects. One is we're doing a big play in Hollywood, looking for the investment, trying to do that. Then just putting a project together for domestic violence movie that I'm producing. And one is STEAM school that is very paramount, that I help build that school. Those children really do need to, education is very important, because without proper desk, without proper building, without proper educational materials, it's very hard for those children to grow up and educate themselves. So these are the very important projects at the moment. I'm doing 2-3 projects that I'm in the middle of doing.
Okay.
As well
Okay.
as well as these, as well as the hashtag. Please join our group, hashtag social justice movement for women and men in businesses. And we will have a lot of information on that, on domestic violence and education and fraud and all that.
Beautiful. So your final words now, as we let you go, what's your final words to people watching us right now who might be going through a whole lot? What do you have to say to them, and particularly to men? We, even in terms of empowerment, we hardly have programs for men. Everywhere is free education for women, free education for young girls, free financial support for women and all that, but we're also neglecting the fact that men are also going through a whole lot. So what will be your last word of advice to everyone? But particularly, I need you to also talk to men to encourage them, because like you said, they get bottled up all macho and masculine inside, and then they die in silence because the society also frowns when men speak out and say XYZ is happening to me. So what's your last word?
Silence hurts, but the words heal. So to be that quote which I have said, silence hurts. So when you're silent, it will hurt you more. But the word that you speak out will heal, because you're going to get more help on those words that you speak out. So to this is for men and women, but more of men because they don't speak out. So silence hurts. So if you're silent, it will hurt you more inside, and it will affect your home life, your business, and your work. And but also, if you speak out, the word hurts. Your words will heal you.
Wow. Beautiful. So this one came in from Ricky, and it says she's done charity ambassador filming, live TV broadcaster, film support of violence and entertainment. Well, Ricky, thank you so much. She just said it
Thank you.
also. Baroness, yeah, Baroness just said it now. So thank you so much, Baroness, for finding time in spite of your very busy schedule to still be a guest on our show. We really enjoyed. It's like I said when we started the program, you are an interviewer's delight. You always make our show wonderful every time we have you here. So much to talk about. And like you see, the time is up again. I know we might have you a third time. What do you think about that?
Of course, why not? Thank you. I'm honored. I'm very honored to be on your show. I'm honored for all the guests and all the comments that we've had. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for your questions. And I hope I could answer more and more questions, but please do follow us on our hashtag and our social justice movement for women and men. You will get a lot of information on that. And thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Baroness.
Thank you. God
Okay,
bless you.
God bless you too. Okay, so that's the size of our show. I want to thank everyone who joined us, everyone who contributed. The videos will be here after the program, so you could all watch. We have viewers across the globe, so some when they wake up from sleep in their country, the videos will be there to watch. And remember, like we always say here, the conversations are unending. So keep your comments coming, and that will even lead us to bring Baroness a third time. She might see some of the comments that you have here, and there'll be need for us to come back and talk about them. And I want to also thank everyone who supported us. Thank you to Chila Luxury Hotel for giving us a space here to use for today's episode of the program. It's a good thing when we do outdoors and use very beautiful places. And so we hope maybe next time again, we'll do Oliver Twist and ask Chila Luxury Hotel to give us another angle of their hotel, maybe the swimming pool area and all that to shoot. I want to thank everyone who's also supported us, everyone who's watched the show and contributed. I read some of the comments and I'm amazed how people follow through to the end of the show. I really, really thank you all. And every guest that we've had on this show, you're never taken for granted. And we really, really appreciate all of you. Okay, till I see you all on Tuesday for the Tuesday's edition. Keep joining us on the conversations. And our doors are open for sponsorship, for support. Every time we need to come here, there's a whole lot of finances involved. So keep us keeping on the slot. It could be very hectic, getting all the things we need, the data, the money, and all that. Yes, but we're going on, and we're always here to serve you all. So for everyone who supported us, we always will say thank you. And once again, thanks to my guest, Baroness Neena Richie, who's always been a pillar of support for us here. Every time we call on her, she's always here for us. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, urging you to have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. And remember, touch a life, because that's the only way you can make the world a better place. It's not about how much you do, but how much you are able to put smiles in the faces of people. So be good, enjoy the weekend, and make sure you are the reason for another person's happiness. Till I see you on Tuesday, have a beautiful time and God bless you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.